Welcome, everybody, to episode 239 of The Effing Title. And I am Big Husky, and joining me today is my UFL co-host, Rob.
That's me, I'm Rob.
He's Rob. That's Rob. Yes?
I'm Rob.
He's Rob. So we did a mid-season update, right? We let everyone know mid-season update. This is kind of what you've missed so far. So we thought now this regular season is over with. Let's do a playoff update, right?
Yes.
So the playoff picture, as you can see, and on the picture next to me, if you're visually looking at it, if you're not, then just listen to the sultry sound of my voice. We have the Stallions, we have the Birmingham Stallions, we have the Michigan Panthers, we have the St. Louis Battlehawks, and we have the San Antonio Brahmas battling out for the cool-looking trophy right here in the middle of the screen. Have you seen the UFL Championship trophy?
No.
It actually looks really cool. I will say that.
Is it a U?
It is technically yes.
Called it.
Yes. All right, so let's take a quick look at the end of the year standings. How did everybody do at the end of the year? Well, as you can see from the list here, the Birmingham Stallions went 9-1, with their only loss coming to the Brahmas in Week 9. Correct? It was Week 9.
Yes, Week 9.
Week 9. Michigan went 7-3. For some reason, I wrote that the Showboats went 8-8, which that's wrong.
Very wrong.
They went 2-8. Don't know why I wrote 8-8. All sorts of fun miscues tonight, I guess. The Roughnecks went 1-9. That is the USFL side. The XFL side, as you can see, the Battlehawks and the Brahmas both went 7-3, but the Battlehawks won the match-to-match. Therefore, they have the number 1 spot in the XFL. The DC Defenders went 4-6, and the Arlington Renegades making a great comeback at the end of the year, coming in at 3-7. So there's the standings for the
great comeback
for the regular season. Great comeback. They won what, 2 out of the 3? They went 2-3 at the end of the season. No, they went 3. No, they went 3-2 to end the season.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, now we're just going to do a nice little quick hit. We're not going to talk too much about these teams, but we will talk a little bit about these teams. Just hitting on each one of the teams that aren't in the playoffs. Just a really nice little quick little thing, a positive and negative sort of thing. Memphis Showboats, Rob. Memphis Showboats.
Congrats. They won the number 1 overall pick.
So for everyone that doesn't know, the final week of the season, the UFL did something a little bit different. I mean, Rob both like this and would love to see the NFL do it somehow. So in the final week of the year, Memphis played Houston. They were both the worst 2 teams in the league. So whoever won the game got the first pick in the draft next year and the first pick in every single round as well. So Memphis won that game, so congratulations to Memphis on being able to pull off the final win of the year and lock in that number 1 draft pick.
Potentially huge.
Potentially.
Real big.
Yeah. I mean, especially for a team like them where there's flashes of things that are good, but not as a whole. Like, they're not consistently there, right?
Yeah. I will say, toward the end of the year, all 4 teams not in the playoffs did start playing a lot better.
Yes.
I will say that. It does not mean it was pretty at any moment for any of them, because it wasn't. But it did get a lot better as it came down here at the end.
So for Memphis, I think the big thing with Memphis, honestly, is that Memphis just needs to really figure out their offense. Because the Memphis defense is okay. It was doing okay. However, their offense feels like it struggles a lot. That could be play calling. That could be just the players themselves. I mean, the big thing is that Darius Victor had almost 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, honestly, I would say where they really struggle is the line.
Yes.
It's in these leagues, if you're O-line, and I don't think it was because they were necessarily bad. I remember they were very unhealthy.
Yes.
As a team, and obviously that can hurt when you're in a developmental league like this. So, definitely didn't help. Didn't help the situation. So, But good to see them finishing strong.
Yes, and then we go to the Houston Roughnecks, which is a weird one because they flashed a lot during the season like they were able to do something, and then they just never were able to fully do the thing, which is highly unfortunate.
It was very just inconsistent. So inconsistent.
I mean,
One
lost
week
by
they looked great.
6, lost by 5, lost by 6, won by 8, and then week 5 is the Stallions, mind you. So, but then right here, 32 to 9 loss. Battlehawks 22 to 8 loss. Then they lose to 3 to the Brahmas. Then they lose to 5 to the Stallions. Then they lose by 4 to the Panthers, and then they just lost by 7 to the Showboats.
It's just the inconsistencies. They're gonna in football. If you're inconsistent, it's gonna find you. It's gonna beat you down, and it's tough to catch up if you're inconsistent. And that's what they were.
Yeah, and it's. I think the big thing with them is that it will come down to their quarterback room. Reed Sinnott, Nolan Henderson, and Jarrett Garetano all played. And they played. I'm not saying it like they played like a little bit. They all actually got like decent playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Like 47 attempts, 74 attempts, and then 187 attempts from Reed. So it's like they need to, like, especially in these. This is one of the things we talk about with these leagues. Is like these leagues, you need to find that guy and just let him run with it. Just go. You see the Stallions.
It's all about quarterback play in these leagues.
Yep, it's a quarterback and line. Boom, done. Defense. The defense got hurt at one point. I do know that because if I remember correctly, I do believe that they had Reuben Foster, right?
He was out in like their training camp though.
Oh, was he? I thought he played. Then who am I thinking of?
He may have played it. Maybe it was very early in the season then, where he pretty much ended his career probably.
He was placed on injured reserve May 24th. It says so. May 24th would have been. Where's schedule? We're professionals here. May 24th would have been.
That wasn't that bad. It was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
still,
thinking
like,
different.
I'm
thinking of something different.
Yeah, well, I thought he got hurt even before that. So, because I thought he got hurt in the Battlehawks game. So, I mean, he got placed on IR that week. Doesn't say that he didn't get hurt that week. But when you have like that leader, boom, and then they go down, it's a massive hit.
Huge.
Then we go to DC, the DC Defenders.
My biggest disappointment.
Yes.
Of the entire league.
Yes.
Like, they were supposed to be the team that, like, was going to dominate, honestly. They're in your face. They had the QB of the year in the XFL, like, all this stuff. And shows how important one player can be, that running back.
Preseason, their running back goes down, and that's it. I mean, their star running back this season was Cameron Harris, who had 252 yards. I could be wrong with this, Rob, but I'm pretty sure their running back last year had 252 yards in one game, or like had 200 yards in one game.
I think he did it multiple times.
Yes. So it's like, goes to show you right there. Tomu had a very up and down season, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But they were able to show that this is still the same DC team at points. As you can see, there's a lot of commonality here with these teams. The at points aspect of it, the consistency part. And then the final team out of all of them was the Arlington Renegades. And Arlington we said it last year, they got hot right at the end of the year, and they went on a run. This year, they got hot right at the end of the year, and they went on a little run. It just took them way too long to figure shit out.
Yeah, I mean, they only won 4 games last year.
Yeah.
If they were in the division that 4 wins got you in, like, guess what? They won 3 this year. You played better teams. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And you weren't that good. You got hot at the right time. You got lucky. You made it in. Boom, there it was. And this year, you kind of did the same thing, except I mean, even 4-6 wouldn't have got you close to it, and now in this league. So, which thank God it shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there's a quick little hitter at the teams that didn't make it into the playoffs. So now we're actually going to talk about the matchups that did make it into the playoffs. Starting off with the first game. So now we're going to get into the first matchup of the weekend. This is Saturday. It is the USFL Conference Championship game, and it is between the Michigan Panthers and Rob's Birmingham Stallions. This is the fifth matchup between these two teams in 3 years.
Is it really?
It is the fifth matchup in 3 years. So the Stallions are 4-0 against the Panthers. And this is the third time they played this year. So it's tough to beat a team once. It's tough to beat a team twice. It's really tough to beat a team 3 times. Not, let alone 4, and now they're going to try in 5. So,
to be fair, though, I will say this. The Brahmas are much different. We're talking about the Brahmas, right?
No, the Panthers and Panthers.
Yeah. The Panthers are the best they've ever been.
Yes, right now, yes, they are playing at a very high level.
I mean, they're off. What scares me in this game is, I mean, it happened, and they just played last week.
Yep, they played last week. It was a 1-point game.
And guess what? Their defense is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make you sit there and earn it. And Birmingham is different than years past, where they're very boring, and then all of a sudden they throw it deep. Didn't connect, and then finally they'll break through and connect on some of them, and that's what happened in the Panthers game. But it's the Panthers defense is scary. They can easily go out and win a game.
And I would say this game is going to come down to one major thing. And that is it. It is going to come down to, can the Stallions offense consistently take advantage of their defense? That is going to be the big thing, I think, in this game. I think that the Panthers offense is stoppable, but they're that old school offense of just chug. They're just going to beat you down. And the other question is this: is who's going to play quarterback?
For the Panthers?
For the Panthers, who's going to play QB? Right?
It's a good question.
Because as of right now, is it going to be Bryce Perkins? Is it going to be Brian Lewerke? Hopefully I'm saying that one right. Is it going to be EJ Perry? Is it going to be Danny Etling?
No, that one I can tell you it won't be.
Yeah, it won't be Etling. But is it because all three of these guys, Perry, Lewerke, and Perkins, are all similar styles, just at different levels, I would argue.
Yeah, I think Bryce Perkins looked really good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He looked really good.
I mean, he went 30 for 38 for 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Now the one pick was bad.
Yes.
It wasn't good. But at the same time, he looked like he made them have to do other things, because he wasn't, like, when EJ Perry's in, EJ Perry tries to win with his feet first.
Yes.
And his arms second. Perkins was staying in the pocket, so Birmingham had to play actual coverage, whereas against EJ Perry, you just put someone in a spy and you're good. He's going to leave the pocket, and then you bring someone off the edge, you work all those lanes, and you're good.
It's also I felt like watching Perkins as well, because it's one of those things that Bryce Perkins was a big name in college. When watching him play, he looked back like he was in college again. Like, it looked like the old Bryce Perkins, which is mildly terrifying if you guys remember Bryce Perkins from back in the day. But
remember what school he went to?
I'm gonna mess this up. I want to say Baylor.
Oh, that was so far different than my answer. Now I have to look it up. Virginia.
It could be Virginia. Now that you're saying that, I don't remember where he went to. I just remember that he
No, it
was.
was. It was. Well, he also played at Arizona State, but he finished at Virginia.
Okay.
I just remember him from the time where at Virginia they went and beat Clemson,
Yes.
and he's really good. His issue is he turns the ball over at the worst times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the absolute worst.
So with that being said, though, Rob, what is your? Who do you think's going to win? What is your prediction?
Birmingham, 31-21.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go Birmingham, and I'm going to lower the score by a whole hell of a lot. Because their scores started kind of high and have slowly gotten closer and closer and closer. I'm going to go with, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm going to go with a nice, and like I said, this is going to sound ridiculous. I'm going to go with a nice 10-9 win.
Yeah. The reason I picked 31-21 is I think it will be a 24-21 game. And I think Perkins will have a turnover that costs him.
Okay, that's fair. I just, after last week with it being like I said, if you look at all their stats together, I don't have it on my phone right now, but if you look at all the times they've played, it started off as kind of a blowout one year, got a little bit closer. Then this year, it's been 20 points for Stallions both times. Like, Michigan's figured it out now, and like now this is the third time they're playing this season. I think we're gonna see some more fun. But now, let's go over to the other side of the league. Let's go over to the XFL side, where we're going to see the San Antonio Brahmas going to the Dome to play my St. Louis Battlehawks.
I'm sorry, Colin. I think San Antonio's the better team.
I think
St. Louis has better players in certain spots, but I think as a team, now that their running back room is healthy in San Antonio, I think they have a better overall team.
I think that. So I would agree. I will agree with you, but I'm going to put a massive stipulation on that, and that is that they are the better team with Garbers.
Yes.
Which is wild, considering that, and this could just be a me thing. Garbers was unknown coming into this year. Obviously, he's probably known. Someone knows him. Some people have followed him. But to me, he was a complete unknown.
He's my cousin.
Yeah, right. To me, he was a complete unknown. And he's come into this league, and he is exactly what this league needs. Is a young face that not a lot of people know of, that is genuinely just playing very good football.
For the most part, yeah.
I think this game comes down to which QB plays the best. That's literally what I think this comes down to, is which QB plays best.
And which QB plays.
Yeah. As of right now, it looks like it's Garber's AJ, so... Is it Garber's McCarron? So this is literally I would argue, two of the faces of the league going at it. Which is funny because the image that I have on the screen right now is neither one of them.
Obviously, it's Scooby, right?
Scooby retired, first of all, Rob.
Yes, but he was at the game.
At the game. Yeah, no, I have Mike Rose for St. Louis, and I have Tavante Beckett, the linebacker. So I have both linebackers for the teams. Yeah, no, I'm going to say this is the more exciting of the two games. I think the Stallions-Panthers game is just going to be a fist fight. I think this is going to be the exciting game, though, if you're not into the fist fight aspect of football. This game, I feel like, could get out of hand either way very quickly. This game could be really low scoring. It genuinely is all going to come down to which offense is going to get in the groove faster.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Like that's
More
literally what
so,
it's
I
going to be.
think which defense is going to take it to the other team longer.
Yes.
Because both of these defenses have a knack in the second half to struggle.
Mm-hmm. And also, St. Louis recently, last couple weeks, they've been playing very passive. It felt like watching them. They've been playing more like kind of like how I do them, man. Sit back, let everything come in front of you, and just come downhill and hit it. Right? Where the Brahmas are like they come at you.
You know what's tough though with these teams because they play each other twice, right?
Yep.
You play these teams twice in a 10-week span, and then you play in the playoffs. I am curious toward the end of the year because both sides did lock up the playoffs a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
How much of them were doing some tendency breakers? You know,
Well,
how
that's
many of them were trying to do different things so that when they go to the playoffs, they don't have a beat on everything. You know,
and
maybe they
also,
think St. Louis is going to play back, and they're actually going to come after them.
well, that's the thing, right? It's like so in week 3 they played. It was in San Antonio. It was 34-21 Battlehawks. And then they just played this weekend in the Dome, and it was 13-12. And now they have to come back to the Dome this weekend. Like
That game's pretty wild.
I agree with you. Like I think I'm going St. Louis obviously because I'm a homer. I do think that AJ is going to have one of the better games, but I could see this game. Like I said, I can see this game going either way. I genuinely think this is on paper. No matter what happened, these are the two best matchups for the playoffs. Period.
Oh yeah, completely agree. And I know I picked San Antonio, but I could easily see St. Louis winning.
Yes.
Like, I don't want anyone to think this is not I'm predicting 33-31 San Antonio.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be in the mid to high 20s. I'm not even going to give a score. I'm just going to say mid to high 20s because I genuinely don't know at this point. Because it all comes down to just, like I said, this game is literally going to come down to which offense starts grooving first. That's it. So then that brings up the question now then. Because, of course, I didn't know who we were going to pick. So I literally left the screen. I have the screen now, so it's just the trophy with all 4 colors on the screen. Which is kind of wild because it's just a bright yellow on my screen right now. But, so Rob, you are going San Antonio Stallions. I'm going Battlehawks Stallions. What are we thinking, considering that the Brahmas won and the Battlehawks came really close, if I remember correctly.
Wait, what? Say that part again?
So, this is the championship game. Like, we're talking championship final game of the year now.
Okay. Well, you said the Battlehawks and the Brahmas came really... I was confused.
So Birmingham beat the Battlehawks by 4, and they lost to the Brahmas, which, mind you, as well, I don't think... Was Adrian playing this game?
Adrian Martinez against the Brahmas?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The Brahmas took it to him.
That was an 18-9 game.
I tell you right now, that game will be the reason why the Stallions are going to win their 4th in a row?
3rd.
I know it's different because it's the UFL, but...
3rd in a row.
3rd in a row. And it will be because it is a revenge game against the Brahmas. Because the Brahmas took it effing to them. You want to talk about an effing title? It was Brahmas Crush Stallions. That was the title of that one.
Love that. I as much as I want to say either one of the XFL teams over the Stallions track record just I can't. I physically cannot pick any of the other teams right now. I can't.
I can tell you if the Stallions play the Battlehawks, the Stallions are 100% winning. No offense. It's a horrible matchup for the Battlehawks.
Oh, yeah, no, it is.
That is what the Stallions are built to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that want to rush the passer and go with exotic blitzes and just kind of play dink and dunk football on offense. Oh, my God. That's what they eat on. That's why the Brahmas gave them problems, because what the Brahmas did is they put 2 running backs in the game and said, we're going to let them run a lot on deep routes, short routes, run game, screens, and everything. And their 2 running backs, they gave them. I mean, I say gave them. We gave them 18 points, but
yeah, still, I mean,
the the bigger thing was with Birmingham, and I'm a little worried with the Michigan thing, is Birmingham couldn't get off of San Antonio's man-to-man,
Yes.
and that was concerning.
Well,
When
that's kind of
they're supposed to have the three of the best receivers in the USFL side,
yes.
and they could not get off of the problem. That does worry me about them playing either XFL team. Is I think the secondaries have an advantage on the USFL's receivers. But I think on the line of scrimmage, that's where the USFL is better there than the XFL is.
And that's one of those things we talked about as well during the mid-season and the preseason. Because now that I remember, we did a preseason one too. I'm pretty sure that's one of the things we talked about then. Was as well was like it was the fact of the USFL was more of a punch you in the face. The XFL was more of a we're throwing the ball around the yard. And it always felt like that. DC was the team that kind of stuck. It was there's always that one outlier on each side, and DC was that one the runner.
Yeah,
So
it's weird, but it's weird to put it this way. But it's the way I always looked at it is the USFL is a true professional development league where they are running very similar stuff to what you saw the early 2000s NFL teams doing. Because that's the coaches they have, right? The XFL was very much more either current NFL or college.
Yes.
Because they have a lot of retired college coaches or guys that grew up as like GAs in the NFL. You know what I mean? So it's very much more, or like in St. Louis's situation, guys who played in the NFL during this era,
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like.
So with that being said, I think it is both agreeing that it doesn't really matter. I think that and it sucks me to say that, especially while I'm wearing my Battlehawks shirt. But I think at the end of the day, the Stallions are holding the trophy.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe the Stallions are the better. I think they are the best overall football team. Now, obviously, this could all change with injuries, but I think they are. If they can beat Michigan, I'm not saying it won't be a good game. It will be a good game because it's two very different clashes, XFL, USFL. But I do think Birmingham has. Also, the other part, Birmingham knows how to win. They've won 2 in a row already, and they have a lot of the same players.
Yep. I mean, and that leads us down into our final segment of the whole thing, which is kind of just doing some award stuff. We're just going to talk about some award stuff and who we would give the effing title, who we are giving awards to. So, MVP. First award, I think it's the big one, and I don't think we need to talk about it.
No, I don't either.
It's Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, the only other person I could think of that you could possibly do, and it has nothing to do with his play on the field. It's just that he is the face of the league, even though I know we love him, but we don't want him to be the face of the league because he's old. It's the only other person you could do is AJ McCarron.
Yep.
But again, that wouldn't be based off of what you've done. It'd be based off of you're the most valuable player. If there's a most valuable player to the league award, it's him.
Yes.
But most valuable player to their team, no, it's not.
Yes.
Don't even put a second person out there, isn't.
Yeah, no. I think there was a point during the season that we could have made the argument for it, but as soon as Adrian
I think we did at the mid-year.
Yeah, I think we did at the mid-year, and I think we both agreed at the mid-year as well. If Adrian continued to be the starter, it was his award to lose. It was his award to lose.
He's leading like 7 different categories.
Exactly. So now this is where things are going to get interesting. Is now we're going to actually go offensive player of year. So
I don't think it's that interesting.
Okay.
I think it's right back to him. I think.
So this thing, I'm not giving him 2. I'm going someone else.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Well, so this is the thing. So I have 2.
Well, now I got to think if we're giving up to another one. Hold on, you can say yours.
Okay, so my first one, and this is gonna, because this is the thing. It's offensive player of the year. I'm gonna give it to Luis Perez. The spring league king. He was 67% completion percentage, 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
If your team doesn't win, does it matter?
Offensive Player of Year.
I know, but if your
I
team
know
doesn't win,
that's what I'm
does
saying.
it
Is like,
matter?
so Louis Perez is the first one. The second one to me is Hakeem Butler, because he's just 45 catches, 652 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would have said the one I would have said besides Hakeem would have been they have a three-headed dragon, so I don't know which one it is. The leading rusher for the Brahmas, that running back.
And John Lovett
Um,
right now is their leading.
is it Lovett?
Lovett.
Honestly, I'd give it to any of those three. They're really good. Not McFarland because he just came back, but the other two.
So John Lovett or Morgan Ellison.
Morgan Ellison, yeah, you know who Morgan Ellison used to play for.
Mm-hmm.
The Sea Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love relationship here.
Rob's
Yeah,
old crush.
They're both. I'd give it to one of them. I think. Yeah.
Like I said, it's hard for me to not to want to give Louis Perez something. Yes, his team wasn't good, but his stats this year were actually
they were bad.
His stats this year were actually insane for a spring league. You know.
Well, it's always amazing to me in spring leagues when the QB doesn't have a lot of turnovers. That's first off. So I agree. I understand your point.
So then, and this is you say just you're wrong.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
Okay.
I understand your point. It's just wrong.
So now this is the next one that I think is gonna be interesting. Defensive Player of the Year. Because this one I think is tougher.
It's tougher because you ought to be honest. No one stayed healthy long.
No one stayed healthy long enough, but then also like it also feels like no one really made that big like I am the defensive guy, right? So I have three. I have one at each kind of level. I'm gonna give it like this because I genuinely don't know which one to give it to. So my first one is Willie Harvey, the linebacker for the Battlehawks.
Mm-hmm.
So he had 78 total tackles, 9 TFLs, 4 sacks, 6 pass breakups, 2 fumbles forced, and a fumble recovery. Kind of all over the place there. So that's my first one. My second one is Breland Sparks, the D end for the Panthers. Breland Sparks had 9.5 sacks.
Speaks.
Breland Speaks. What did I say? Yes. Sparks?
Yes.
Sorry, Breland. Breland Speaks.
Nope. Hey, we don't have to talk about it anymore.
He had 9.5 sacks.
Those are the two. That's the one player we have that overlaps.
And
the other player I was gonna think about was Kai Nakua.
That was the other one, but then it's tough for me to say Kai when Kai had 3 interceptions at the midseason point.
Yes.
And he ended the season
also got hurt
with 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he also got hurt. So even though he was playing, he was banged up. But yes, I would go with Breland Sparks then.
Yeah, I think you just said Sparks.
Damn it, yeah, Speaks.
Breland Speaks, I think, wins it unanimously. He was a stud last year when it was just the USFL, and he's been a stud this year in the UFL. And then the final one, then the final thing that I have on here is a Coach of the Year, which is yet again another just unanimous.
Yeah,
it's Skip Holtz.
Alexa, the very lights
Skippy.
I don't think you can say anyone else. Those are the only awards that I had listed, Rob. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to do for awards, but those are the ones that I have.
Not until it's over.
Not until it's over. And also, apparently, this is something that I did see like a second ago. I'm going to bring it back up on my phone just to make sure I did not miss-see this. But funnily enough, so we are currently recording this right now. So everyone knows we're currently recording this. It's 9:30 on Tuesday. So 47 minutes ago, tomorrow, the all UFL team will be announced.
Oh, interesting.
So we will be uploading this tomorrow as well. So all UFL team will be an interesting one to see. I'm excited to see who they put on there. I have a good idea for a lot of it, but I think there is going to be some that it will be like, okay, right?
Yeah, there always is.
But with that being said, though, that is the that's the playoff update, man. That's the postseason update. It's been a fun season. Can't believe it's already been 10 weeks. And honestly, it's been good football. So we really can't complain too much about it. Obviously, it will be interesting to see what happens next. We already have some players who have been in the league now, who have gotten looks and are getting invites to camps and stuff. Where was it? Right here. The DC Defenders wide receiver Brandon Smith will be trying out for the Philadelphia Eagles at their mini camp this week. DC Defenders guard Liam Forendell is working out with the Patriots and Packers this week. And the Washington Commanders are signing kicker Ramirez Ahmed, who was a release from the Stallions last week. So we have a couple players that are already starting to find their way to NFL teams, which is a great thing to see happen.
Yes, it is.
So with that though, what is your final thing, Rob? Final things moving forward here, to end everything.
Go see Dragons.
Go see Dragons. Yeah, hopefully you guys have all been enjoying the season as much as we have. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little playoff breakdown update that we just did. Let us know down in the comments down below what you guys think. It'd be really cool to hear what you guys think. And we will most likely be doing an end of season, what our thoughts were over the first year update as well. So stay tuned for that. But until then, as always, depending on where you are, morning, afternoon, even night, stay out of trouble, stay safe, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.